Hello, welcome to Paul's Beginner's Guide to using watercolour. This will be a set of watercolour tutorial videos just showing you the basics, the very basics on how to use the watercolour medium. Please let me know what you think, and at the bottom of this video leave a little message to give me some ideas and comments. Now this little video will be using salt and wash, so what we need to do is just lay down some basic colours first. I'll do the same again like I've done in previous tutorials, is by wetting the paper initially. Just use a very large brush. I'm going to wet the paper just so that all the colours that we put on here will soak into one another, and obviously let the paint work for itself then. And the use of salt on here will give you like a starburst effect, which is absolutely brilliant, lovely effect. And you can use either table salt or sea salt. Sea salt, you'll find, will give you a much more larger kind of starburst if you wish, whereas table salt will give you a finer kind of effect than sea salt. Just going to drop some colour in there. I've got some ultramarine blue, for example. You've got to do this fairly quickly because obviously the paper will start to dry on you, and before you know it the paper's dry and you can't do the effect that you want. A little bit of burnt umber as well in there, just to kind of add a bit of colour to it. For this to work and for it to stand out, we need a little bit of darkish colours in there. Not completely dark, we don't be using black, to be honest with you, because I think black is a bit of a bland colour unless you add other colours to it. A little bit of red in there, which is cadmium red. Just dot it around, just to keep the paper going and keep it wet. So the trick is to keep everything looking wet all the time. A little bit of raw umber, just dropped in there for now, just to darken certain areas. It's very colourful, isn't it? So that's that. Now what we're going to do, we're going to get some table salt, which is this, as you can see, the standard table salt. That's all I've got. And we're going to sprinkle a little bit of that into my hand. And while the painting's still nice and wet, I'm going to drop this onto the paper. That's enough, that's plenty. And then we'll let that dry. Let it dry, see what the effect it could be on the end of it, and you'll be quite impressed with it one. It's a good one, but you've got to remember to make sure that you put the salt on whilst everything is still nice and wet. If it's dry or nearly dry, it won't be as effective. And this is the finish for the salt and wash technique. As you can see, there's some cracking effects there. Go on, you've got to give this one a go.